Since then, I've taken that as a journey, specifically that last day of summiting, when I talk about people with money and what they're going through. Every day is a grind. Every day is just one foot in front of another, one foot in front of another until we reach one of our goals. And guess what? At the end of the day, that summit wasn't the last goal we reached, because we saw it come down. I think you'll know, right? What we're talking about, you're just going to feel it. You're going to feel offended or defensive about it. So that's one way that you're going to know right away.
Triggers, right?
The other is, I want to ask, and I use this analogy a lot, but I want to ask everyone right now, have you seen or missed opportunities in your life that you were unwilling to take advantage of or did never saw to take advantage of that others have and are further ahead in your life? You're doing it. So one, pat yourself on the back. I know, smile a little bit, try to lift yourself up. The other is, ask yourself, what risk did you take? What cliff did you walk off of to start your business? What was that? What helped push you over the edge to be like, I'm gonna start this thing? So visualize this. When you feel out of control with your money, you don't know what's coming in, you don't know what's going out, bank account keeps going, and you get in those damn fees, right? Overdraft fees.
Yeah.
What do you start to do? Right? You start to probably overeat, drink more, do more drugs, do things that you know is not good for yourself, your body, your mental side, everything. You will repeatedly do those things because you keep logging in to look at your bank account and it's at zero, it's at negative, it goes positive, right? That's what I mean, you start turning.
Wealth isn't just about money. It's about joy, freedom, and living fully. Stoy Hall knows this firsthand. From growing up in scarcity to building Black Mammoth, Stoy has redefined what true wealth really means. He shows us that mindset can either trap us or set us free, and that breaking cycles, teaching financial literacy, and building generational wealth is about more than dollars. It's about passing down knowledge, confidence, and purpose. If you ever felt stuck by old money beliefs or distorted social media success, this episode is your wake-up call. Get ready to redefine your wealth, your success, and your future. Hey there. Look, my hope is that the ThriveWell Journey meets you exactly where you are and helps you rise into who you're here to be. It's 2025, and this is your year to thrive despite what the world is throwing at us. And our desire is that our conversations inspire you, bring clarity, and give you a reason to breathe deeper. So our ask is that you take a moment to subscribe, download the episode, and follow us on your favorite RSS platform. Your support doesn't just help the show grow, it helps build a space that's rooted in your evolution. And that means everything to me and the TTJ team. Now, if you're ready to go beyond the episodes, come join our private ThriveWell Journey discussion group on Facebook. We're walking through a 22-week series built to anchor each week in intention, purpose, and meaningful connection. I do so look forward to hearing your voice and can't wait to see you in the group. But for right now, let's get into it. Stoy Hall is on the podcast today, man. I want to say thank you for being here. And I know we talked a little bit in the green room. And first of all, I just remembered. I know we were going to do a podcast before about a month ago, but you had some situations that you had to take care of. And here's what's so interesting about that. I was watching TV. Maybe like I think a couple days after we were going to do the podcast, a face popped up on the TV, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that's the guy that's supposed to be on the podcast? But you were watching, I was watching, I think Atlanta News First or whatever, and then you came on and you were talking about finances, and I was like, hey, that's him. So I got to kind of see you a little bit on there. So thank you for being here on this podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing me on. And yeah, we had a lot of things personal go on a month ago, and I'm glad we could reschedule and get at it now.
Yeah, me too. And just to flow into it, just reading about you, you are an international man, and you've been all over, right? So I was reading about you were in you did sports in Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I lost my notes here, but it's okay. Can you talk about that, or even, share a little bit about your journey from, I know you talk about scarcity to understanding true wealth, and just kind of give a brief overview of, share a little bit about that, from your journey from scarcity to your understanding of building true wealth.
Yeah. And actually the trip to Tanzania intertwines with that pretty smoothly too. So I originally born and raised Omaha, Nebraska, with a single white mother. Father was not in the picture. Okay. Really wasn't around since the age of 3, give or take. And I learned early on that different people have different love languages, is what we call it nowadays. But my mom would always buy me stuff and make sure I could get to sports. Like, that was her thing. It wasn't time around me. It was making sure I can do those things. But I was raised a lot by my teammates' parents or some of my friends' parents, and they're in a whole different class, right? A whole different setup of money. And I never understood, like, why is that? Like, why do some people have money and some don't? Why can some people afford to go on trips and some don't? It never clicked. I never understood it. And so I had this deep passion of, like, finding out why. Why is my family in this situation when another family isn't, and we live across the street essentially from each other?
Mm-hmm.
And so, being an athlete, knowing that that's the route I was going to go, I was lucky enough to play collegiate football at Drake University. And I also worked at the Boys and Girls Club off campus. And I got my degree in finance, minored in business law, because I wanted to understand how this money game worked. Because in our communities, we're never taught that. That is not even a thing, right? We're not allowed to talk about money within our own families, our own community. We just don't do that. So being a part of the Boys and Girls Club, I started to understand that, like, it wasn't just a my family issue. It's a lot of people's issues, right?
Yeah.
From the richest to the poorest, we all have this thing around money. I have now deemed it and learned that it is a poor relationship with money or a negative money mindset. And it usually stems from some type of trauma when we were a child around money. And so over the course of, going to school and working, I realized that I needed to be a part of that more. And that didn't really come to light of how I wanted to do it until we went to that trip to Tanzania, which our football team went down there. We actually played against a Mexican all-star team. By the way, Mexican football has been around for almost as long as American football. Fun fact. But we went there to play against them. Go ahead.
Not soccer, but American football, not football, but football.
Yeah. Football, not football, right? And so we went down there, but part of that was, we went to an orphanage. We helped build their fences, their security, and stuff like that. And I will never forget this memory. We get off the plane. We're welcomed by a welcome tribe. By the way, their verticals are like 40, 45, 50 inches. They're just jumping. That's part of their, like, celebration. But I'm sitting here going, wow, if they put on a jersey or went and played some basketball, we had no chance. But also when we were going through the village, I look over and there's women just sweeping mud floors. Like, that's what they're doing. Well, we think about it as mud floors. That's their floor. They're just cleaning up for the day. Mm-hmm. And throughout that 2 weeks, I learned that these are the most wealthy people I have ever met, because I was raised by the terms of wealthy means money. I learned really quickly, wealth is not about money. It takes money to sometimes become wealthy, but wealthy is your true happiness, joy in life, and living life how you want to and taking care of others. That's all wealthy is. And they had it there. They were happier in hell. Now, obviously, we were giving things and doing things that we wanted to, but at the end of the day, they were just so wealthy. And that's when it triggered me to be like, I need to get into this industry and disrupt it and go a different route about money. So I can teach our people that money is just a tool for us to do things. Living a wealthy life doesn't matter how many zeros you have, you can still be wealthy. And I abide by that now, right? So I launched Black Mammoth in 2020, and we haven't stopped growing since.
That trip, I mean, it had to really give you some enlightenment about life, about how to live life, or how to share your knowledge with other people. What were some of the, like, messages that you got within that that
Yeah.
trip?
There was a sense of, what word do I want to use? Yeah, there was a sense of purpose, but there was a sense of being grounded
Mm-hmm.
into earth, into life, right? Because there's not a lot of Wi-Fi. You don't have to worry about any of the technology things. You're truly living every day for that next day. We
Mm-hmm.
also climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, which was the hardest damn hike I've ever been on in my life. But you just get in tune with who you are and why you are truly on that earth, not to do all the things that we do here in America, but to like root of, we need water, we need food, we need to get from point A to point B, but we need to do it collectively together because we can't do it all ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kept the same things, the same methods, the same ideas kept hitting us over and over again. One night in the tent with one of my buddies, we were just sitting there going, and then all of a sudden, like this aura just hit us of like, we are supposed to be where we're at right now with the people we're at right now in our lives. And the next day we were summiting, and it just made you feel like this earth runs through us as opposed to us running the earth. And those messages haven't left, me since those days, I should say.
Not everybody can say they climb the mountain Kilimanjaro. On that, what was the experience like for you before you got to the summit, and then when you got to the summit?
We did it in 6 days, 4 days up, 2 days down. The first 3 days, you're just walking all day long, right? 12 hours. It's a normal mountain type walk.
Yeah.
But it's like camping, right? You're with your buddies, you're doing all of those things. As you get to day 3, we ran out of peanut butter and coffee, which was a big issue.
I'm sure.
I need my coffee. But so it was just like, cool, we're hanging out, we're doing things, we're going through rivers, we're jumping through rocks, we're being able to have conversations. And then that like last night before you summit, you actually get up at like 1 a.m. because they don't want you summiting in the daytime because of how vertical it is. You mentally won't do it. It's
Really?
like a mile almost straight up. I'm talking about, you can't physically walk straight up it. You have to go back and forth for 8 hours basically to get up this thing. And so that is where, when you can't breathe, your next focus is just literally the step in front of me, like one step at a time. And you do that for like 6-8 hours, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. Just with buddy in front, buddy in back. I'm just making sure we all can just keep going straight. And then you get to the summit, and you still have another, quarter of a mile to go to reach the highest peak. And we had 2 teammates drop off because their brains were swelling. So they were emergency rushed down. You really can't breathe. You can't stay up there long. But when you see the sunrise and you're there, you kind of leave your body a little bit. I know people use that expression all the time, but you kind of do. You get there and you realize that you put in all this work to get to this moment, a lot of moments that people have not been to, and you did it with the people that you have grinded and done everything with in life. And since then, I've taken that as a journey, specifically that last day of summiting, when I talk about people with money and what they're going through. Mm-hmm. Every day is a grind. Every day is just one foot in front of another, one foot in front of another, until we reach one of our goals. And guess what? At the end of the day, that summit wasn't the last goal we reached, because we still had to come down. We still had to come back to life, right? And that's the same thing with our journeys when it comes to money and just life in general, is we still reach a goal, but we got to still keep going. And that's what I took from specifically that summiting day.
So, earlier you talked about, wealth was not what you thought. And I would assert that success was probably the same thing. Like, when did you first realize that the traditional definition of wealth and success wasn't enough?
I don't know if I ever knew what the true definition was. I mean, on paper, what I've taught in schools, yes, I know what the actual definition is, but I never personally have ever felt true success and true definition of wealth internally. Mm-hmm. I always thought it was always something you just had to keep competing at. It could be because I was an athlete from early on, and that's what we got drilled into us, and that's just who I am. But when I then take that back over my years of experience, I mean, I'm going on 14, 15 years now. I look at every one of my clients' journeys.
Mhm.
It's reflective of the same thing. No one ever really feels like they've made it.
Right.
They've been successful. They are wealthy. No one feels that. Doesn't matter even if you're those narcissistic people like Musk or something like that. He still doesn't feel successful and he's made it, right? So then I started realizing, why do we put a definition on this when the only people that can see us being successful are outside of our own ears, that are outside looking in? We never actually truly feel that. So
Mhm.
why are we trying to achieve this thing, this goal, this success, whatever it looks like, by a definition in a dictionary, when truly, what does that success meter mean for us?
Right.
And almost every person I've ever met doesn't have that answer. The only answer is, I just keep going. Like, I just have to keep going. And really, that's the definition of life, is just keep going. You're never going to make it. The day you make it's the day you die. Like, that's when you made it.
Yeah.
But you got to keep going every day.
I find that very interesting because even just in terms of maybe in specific areas, maybe you've done something successfully, but some people, and I'll just use myself, like, even though, like, just say in sports, there was a that space and time that I was successful in that area, but I never saw myself successful. Like, finishing first in the race or getting trophies and gold medals and scholarships and all that kind of stuff. But it was always something next. And what do you say to those people that have that mindset, like that never can never kind of sit in the success of what they've created and have to get to that next thing?
That one I've battled myself, right? I've had really good success in sports and in business and everything, and I've battled that. And the message I try to tell everyone, including myself and my clients, is find out what truly brings you joy, though, and go do that thing. Right? For us, my family, we go to Hawaii for 2 weeks every year. Like, that is ultimately what brings us the most joy.
Mm-hmm.
Home away from home type thing. When we're there, that's when you can decompress, get away from things, and just smile and be you, right?
Yeah.
You have to have those moments. It doesn't have to be 2 weeks in Hawaii. It could be whatever it is for you. You need to figure out what brings you joy and align those things with some of your everyday practices, or have that be your mechanism for when, like in business, my goal is to make $100,000 this year. Cool. All right. When I hit that and I achieve that, I'm going to do the thing that brings me joy. Right? You need to align these steps with things that bring you joy, because the earning of the money or the reaching of that goal or that summiting might not be what makes you feel successful. You may never ever feel that, but you do know that these things bring you joy. And by doing these things and achieving these, you can go do the things that you really love.
Summiting Mount Kilimanjaro, did you feel that feeling of success? And if so, did you celebrate that achievement, or what was that like for you?
For me, in that mindset, I mean, because we were still playing, we had a game that we played. For me, it was just another step, right?
Yeah.
Another thing on my journey, like another training session, it was just another thing. And then you tell people and they go, excuse me? Like, are you serious? Right? Like, then you start to read about it and figure it out. And you have to I had to create that for myself. But no, I didn't do that. I was there with my teammates, and it's another challenge in front of us that we were knocking out of the park. Like that's all it was. It was never people say that when they scale mountains that they just get this like sense of accomplishment and success. And no, it was to what you were talking about. Just what's up? Okay, what's next? Right?
What's next? Yeah.
What's next? Oh, we get to slide down the mountain? Sweet. Let's do that. Okay, what's next? You know what I mean? That's what it felt like to me.
And so I brought that up because I just wanted to kind of flow into the next thing, which was like our mindset, and how we think about things. And I know in the beginning of the conversation, families don't talk about finances a lot, or money, or the relationship to money could be not having a relationship to money. And sometimes, not all for everyone, but it can create kind of just different kind of mindsets. And so in that mindset, I want to talk about scarcity. In your view, what is the scarcity mindset?
Yeah. And there's a difference between survival and scarcity. I want everyone to know that too. Scarcity, living in a scarcity mindset, is unwilling to take risks or things that will improve your life because you're afraid of the unknown. That's it. That's all it is. Survival is knowing that I have to do this the bare minimum to survive, but I am trying to achieve success. Okay. And those are like everyone usually gets those mixed up. Like I'm living a scarcity survival mindset. No, they're not. Survival is different than scarcity. Scarcity is truly living in a way where you are not willing to take on risks, whatever they may be, to continue to go forward because you don't know what could happen. And guess what? We're humans. We live everyday life. There's no way possible that we would know what's going to happen next. I don't even know what we're going to say the next few sentences, right? So how am I going to be so scared and afraid of taking that risk of having this next 2-sentence conversation with you just because I don't know what's going to happen?
Right.
And that's, to me, that's the definition of scarcity, if you will.
Here on the ThriveWell Journey, we talk a lot about not just surviving, but thriving. And a big part of that for me has been understanding my health on a deeper level. That's why I partnered with Live Good and brought it under my company, Orion's Health. Not just because I believe in the products, but because I've seen what they can do firsthand. I've walked through some hard health chapters in my life, including cancer and a kidney transplant. And I know what it feels like when your body's working against you. That's why we're offering 2 free tools that help me and can help you too. First, go to myfreehealthreport.com/Orion's Health. Take our quick health questionnaire and get a personalized report created by Dr. Ryan Goodkin, Live Good's Director of Product Development. It's clear, actionable, and totally free. Second, visit myfreedetox.com and get a free chlorophyll and zeolite detox bottle with your first product order. It's a gentle, natural way to clear out toxins and start fresh, something I personally use and stand behind. This isn't just a sponsorship, it's part of my mission through Orion's Health to help people thrive in body, mind, and spirit. Of course, always consult your physician before starting any new supplement or health regimen. Your body is unique, and your healthcare provider should always be part of the conversation. The links are in the show notes. Now tap in and take your next step toward thriving. Do you see that people live, let's talk about entrepreneurs, or just people in general, live in that mindset of scarcity, and how can one break out of that mentality, that way of being, for themselves, so that they can really truly live a world of possibility for who they want to become in life?
Yeah, I'm not a statistician or know the data on this, but I would say majority of us live in scarcity mindset. Right?
Yeah.
That's just how it is, the truth. For me, the best way to get out of it is to figure out who you are, like what brings you joy, happiness, how you want to live life, not what media has portrayed you, not what your family tells you. How do you want to live your life, and what does that mean? Okay. And then tie that into your decision making, your budgeting, all your things. And that will naturally get you out of scarcity and move you into prosperity, or just living life of like, I got to do these things to achieve this. And if something bad happens, it's okay, because I'm focusing on what brings me joy and doing the right things. And if I can focus on that, even if bad things happen, they will get corrected. They will be figured out, and I will be able to move forward. But if you're stuck in the mud and you're not going anywhere, that's truly what you are. You're stuck, and you're going to feel that way. And it's just going to keep spiraling and spiraling and spiraling until people overspend, get in too much debt, use drugs, commit suicide. All of those things come into play when you're stuck in that scarcity mindset. And so truthfully, just figure out who you are, apply those to all your decisions you make, and you'll slowly start to move out of that scarcity mindset.
Is that a way for entrepreneurs or just people in general to kind of recognize that they're living in the scarcity mindset?
I think you'll know, right? What we're talking about, you're just going to feel it. You're going to feel offended or defensive about it. So that's one way that you're going to know right away.
Triggers, right?
The other is I want to ask, and I use this analogy a lot, but I want to ask everyone right now, have you seen or missed opportunities in your life that you were unwilling to take advantage of or did never saw to take advantage of that others have and are further ahead in your life? All right, think about that. And when I bring this back up, obviously from an athletic perspective, is in college football, we would train 8-9 months out of the year at 6 a.m. for 11 potential opportunities to play the game that we love.
Right.
We knew what we were training for. We knew we had 11 on the schedule. We knew when they were. And we still trained that hard every day just to have those 11 opportunities. In life, you don't know when those opportunities are going to happen. You don't know how many there are.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us don't do the day in, day out training for ourselves, education, making the right financial decisions, etc. For when those opportunities arise, we either can't see them, fiscally cannot take advantage of them, physically cannot take advantage of them, or mentally can't take advantage of those opportunities. And when those opportunities arise, those are the ones that are given to us to then get ahead or get out of our situation. So again, everybody, think about it. In your life, have you gotten passed up on opportunities or missed them because you couldn't see them because you were not trained yourself and you were not ready for that opportunity?
That's a good question. How do they answer that question then? Like if you don't necessarily see it because you're in it, how do you acknowledge and recognize that so that if that does show up for them, they can answer that for themselves?
Thing is, we all miss opportunities that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
It's facts. They're out there. Me, you, doesn't matter how well you're prepped and trained. So it's happening. It's just a matter of how many are you missing.
Yeah, I know.
That's all it is. You know, if there was 100 a year, are you missing 99 or are you missing 50? Right? Those that train, educate themselves, are put into a positive mental mindset when it comes to money, are aligned with their joy and their goals and their budgeting, and are able to take advantage of the things that are popping up. They're the ones that are getting more towards that I can take advantage of more opportunities. Mm-hmm. The ones that don't have those things set up and prepared and all of that, you're missing 99% of them. That's just what's out there for you because you have not prepared everything in front of you. And that takes up your mindset. That takes up your mental capacity. Right? If you don't have your things in order, everybody organized, and you know what's going to happen if this happens, and hey, if my car breaks down, I'm cool, I can figure it out. If you don't have that aligned, all of those decisions are going through your brain right now, regardless. Mm-hmm. And so, how can your brain then see an opportunity that's out there if it's spending its time trying to come up with plans that you haven't set down forth on something as simple as if my car breaks down?
Yeah. What's a practical step that someone that's in that situation, that's listening, and they're like, is that me? What's one sign that says, yeah, that may be you, that you're in this situation? And what's one step that can give them, just a way out of that space that they may be in?
Yeah. Whether it's you or someone you love and there's visible signs. And those visible signs are usually they're backed off, they're regarded, but if something happens, they're so emotionally quick triggered by it, right? Whatever that may be, it could be a plethora of things. Yeah. But those people, the ones that they just look worn down a little bit, but then if something small pops off, they pop off. That is then telling you that their brain is so overwhelmed with things and they're not prepared for whatever it may be, right? Even if it is something small. And so those are the people that you can recognize right away. How do you help them, or how can they be listening and take that first step to help themselves? Is sit down with yourself and write all of your worries and concerns out. I know we don't do a lot of writing nowadays. It's 2025. We like using ChatGPT and computers and stuff. Write it down.
Right.
Write it all down. Okay. And then go back through, not that same day, just write it all down. Maybe next day, a week later, go through and ask yourself, do you have a plan for this? If you do, nice little check mark. Cool, we got a plan. If you don't, start with that first one and start a plan. Just start a very simple plan. Because you have to start figure out what's wrong, then you have to take that first step. So it doesn't matter what it is, you need to take that first step. Then that next step becomes a little easier. And then you can start to build momentum, whether that's bringing in experts or whatever. But you have to start with you. We can't do anything. Like, even if you hired me, there's only so much I can do. It's still on your shoulders to lift.
Yeah. I would say that, like, there's people that may be in great positions to, elevate themselves financially and mentally and all that good stuff, but there may be some kind of thing, some stronghold that's holding them back from actually taking a step to move forward. And it could be crippling to some people. What would you say to people that are like, they just feel stuck? The entrepreneurs that feel stuck. And I hate to use the word stuck, but that's the only one that I can really give a picture of where they may be mentally. What would you say to that person, that entrepreneur, that person?
I would first congratulate them. If you're an entrepreneur and you're still here listening and you're operating, you're doing majority of the work. It's already done. You've done it successfully, right? I have money coming in, or you're operating a little bit. Congratulations. You're doing majority of things that people wouldn't do, right? That's why there is normal employees, because they can't do it. You're doing it. So one, pat yourself on the back. I know, smile a little bit, try to lift yourself up. The other is ask yourself, what risk did you take? What cliff did you walk off of to start your business? What was that? What helped push you over the edge to be like, I'm going to start this thing? We all have to. You don't just go into it with everything lined up and it's just a flip of a switch and it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not possible. You had to take a risk. So ask yourself what that risk was, or how you got pushed into the business. And then ask yourself again, if I want to grow, do I have to take another step off the ledge? Answer is going to be yes, right?
Yeah.
But can that same motivation that got me into it push me to that next step and know that I'm okay because I've already done it once? So why can't I do it again?
Right. It's continuous steps that will continue to move you forward. But you're in the world of the unknown, especially as an entrepreneur. You're in the world of the unknown. And so what it's going to take is, the continuous risk steps to continue to move you forward. Let's go from scarcity mindset to wealth understanding. One of the things, some of the things you talk about is, understanding wealth, and in certain, like you said, families, they don't talk about wealth and freedom and understanding money and what money can do as a tool, right? How do families, entrepreneurs, just people in general, really redefine wealth for anyone who wants lasting freedom, and really free themselves up from the old way of thinking, like, I can't talk about money and all that kind of, all the stuff.
You got to start with, and I like to say, you like to start with your business owners that are your friends, right? Because most of us are all going through that same thing. And really what we're skating around the word is generational wealth. Our communities really statistically don't have generational wealth. That was broken during the Tulsa bombing and all those things. Like, just generationally, we don't have it. Majority of us minorities do not have generational wealth. And that's the problem, is we don't have it. And so no one knows how to teach it to pass it down. So one, I would start with some like-minded business owners that are around you and have the conversations about, hey, how are you doing? And how do we build? And start to get comfortable with talking about your money, right? And talking about that. Generational wealth isn't just about dollars. It's about knowledge and education. That is more important than the actual money. The thing is, we just haven't passed down our own knowledge either. So business owners, you're really good at what you do, probably. Why you have a business? Are you teaching your kids? Are you talking to your family about what you do in your business and what the hard things are and what the fun things are? Are you on podcasts and creating content, blog posts and stuff, sharing the wealth of knowledge that you have as much as you can? Are you doing that? If you're not doing that, are you truly building on that generational wealth? Are you really trying to change the dynamic of your family? The answer is no, because it starts with you. You're the one who's recognizing it, right? Yeah, I get it. Your family, your parents didn't teach you. Your grandparents never taught you. It's not fair. It's a lot of hard work. So be it. Someone has to start it in your family.
Yeah.
You're the entrepreneur now. You've taken those risks. You've learned a lot. It's time to start just speaking, whether it's to us as an audience or it truly is to your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I want to really kind of bring a picture to it, what you just said, because it's really important. My nephews, they come over here, and there's a guy who owns a restaurant over there. So they go over to his restaurant and they do some work, right? And the guy gives them like $20 or whatever. And then what they'll do is they'll take that $20 and they'll go buy candy and all that kind of, what kids do, right? And then they'll come back and I say, where's your money? Oh, give me $2 or $3. And I'm like, this is all you have? What'd you make? And then they'd be like, oh, 20. I was like, well, how much did you make per hour? How many hours did you work? And they wouldn't know. So I actually set them down to say, okay, well, I love the fact that you have the initiative to go out and get your own money, right? And make your money. That's good. But you come back with $2 out of the $20 that you made, split between you two or three, if whatever it will be. And that's all you have. So where's the rest, And so what I do, I say, well, when you go back over there and you work for, his name is Andre, you don't spend any money, you bring it back to me. So I have them bring it back to me. And then at that point, I teach them out of whatever they make, this is what you do. You pay yourself first, right? Give yourself some money, right? And then if you want to budget out getting candy and potato chips and all that kind of stuff, do that. But then after you do all that, what's left? And they'll look and be like, maybe, $1 or something. I was like, so what are you going to do with that? If you grow up, what kind of bills you're going to pay with that? Just different things, just to give them the understanding that there's a value to the work that you put in, and also value to the work of the money that was given to you. And I think, it's important that we kind of start to teach, and not that that's generational wealth, but just the knowledge of what the value of $1 is for them at that young age. What would you say about, teaching the young about generational wealth and passing that knowledge on
We have
to them? Yeah.
Majority of us are too old to learn anything at this point. Like, there's people that are just stuck in their ways, and the only way to effectively change them is we got to go young with it. It's what we do with our boys too. We use Greenlight. I know it's like $20 a month or whatever the hell it is. It's a fantastic app that has a lot of educational tools, but allows you to build up a paycheck like them. So we do the same thing. Their money comes in. Half of it goes to whether it's something they're saving for short term or long term. Some goes to taxes, right? Comes to dad. I just put it in a savings account, but I say it's taxes. And then the rest, I don't care what you do with it, right? Mm-hmm. Figure it out yourself. Yeah. What we're doing, what you just said you're doing, is you're building on getting away from the scarcity mindset, because we all live so paycheck to paycheck, and it's our own fault. We never think about the long term. And I don't even mean long term like 10, 30 years like retirement. I'm talking about like next year, like 18 months, 24 months. A lot of us don't even think that far and prepare for that far. And that's because we've never been taught how to save, of course, but how to get through to reaching our goals. It's always been probably derived from our surviving side of things to developed into scarcity, right? The survival is, back in the day, our grandparents and great grandparents were going through slavery and all that. They were just surviving. They didn't think about living the next day because they didn't know if they would. That is rooted in us still, but it's now scarcity, where we do actually have enough money. We are surviving. Technically, we're thriving compared to them, but we still haven't taken that next step to prepare ourselves for the next 12, 18, 24 months because of all those things rooted in us and not having someone teach it like you or like me or like those others out there. And it gets even deeper for our own communities because there's not a lot of us out there talking about this on that degree, right? I mean, we're competing against the streets. We're competing against trauma from a generational perspective. Most all minorities, and I'm including LGBTQ too, they're always getting pounded down for so many other things. There's not enough of us speaking loud enough for them to hear to help that situation. And that's part of our issue. That's why I do my podcast. That's really why I started it. That's why I guest on as many as I can, is because we need to be seen and heard. And yes, I'm talking about being a Black man in America. We need to be seen and be heard if we're going to truly change this younger generation, or at least teach them as much as we can.
I think it's important. I remember just back, I don't know, my dad was pretty, not necessarily strict, but he gave me understanding of certain things. And so like, back in, I don't know, back in the day, whatever it was, I would see, you know, people getting chains and, you know, all the, you know, shoes and all that kind of stuff. And it just never, I like the nice things, but it just never appealed to me because of the way my dad was and kind of what he instilled into me. And I just see that now when I look at, you know, the generation wants to spend $1,000 on, you know, shoes and gear as opposed to spending $1,000 and put it in an IUL or something like that. You know what I mean? Like just anything, you know. And it's the shift that, even though we could do family to family, it needs to be a larger shift in the mindset of the younger people. And I think maybe generation, whatever this is, whatever this younger generation,
but yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they're getting more of an understanding because I just hear more of them talking this way. But you know, it's important, like you said, it's important to really bring this to the masses because I don't know, there's some book out there, I can't think of the name of it, maybe I shouldn't say it, but it's saying that, you know, the Black community will be one of the poor races in like 20 or 30 years because of the lack of understanding. And I think that's very, very important that, you know, we talk about it. So,
amen. Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's just a mindset shift, right? What is the emotion behind all of that that we just talked about? Like, you know, it's an emotional thing for people. What do you attribute that to?
Money is the one thing that we feel like we can control over everyone else. It's the one thing, right? And I use this analogy probably too much, but people will tell us about their legal issues, their medical issues, their baby mama drama. Like we'll throw all that out.
Right. Yeah.
But we will never talk about money.
Right.
We'll never say where we're at financially because we think we can control it, and we can't. It's actually one of the things that we can't control. The money game is so complex, people, that you will never be able to be an expert in it. I do it all day, every day, and have been doing it for 15 years and studying it. I still learn things every single day. The money game is not designed for you to win big for the majority of us. It is designed for you just to get through and get by. Mm-hmm. You are trying to be an expert in a game that you cannot win or you cannot be super successful at by yourself. It's not possible. But you can take care of your body, right? Without anyone telling you what to do. You can avoid crime, right? Because it's your own decision. So back to that analogy is everyone wants to talk about all that drama and things that are happening to them, but don't want to own up to the thing that they can't really control because they don't know how it works. That's where the emotions come into play. That's when you turn on yourself, you get depressed. All the things that come out of emotions stem from the fact that you are not recognizing that you don't know what the money game, and you can't learn it and you can't recognize it because it is so complex, mm-hmm. and you think you can control it. When if you focus on the things you can control, like your mindset, your actual physical body, avoiding doing crime, right? All of those things makes everything else a lot easier. but we have it flipped for some reason. I don't know where it started, right? I'm sure someone did some history on this, but at some point that flipped for us, where we thought it is only ours to control and we know what's best for our own money. And you don't. You just don't. It's not possible.
You said a important thing, and I want to just, can you characterize it? You said turn on yourself. What does that look like?
So visualize this. When you feel out of control with your money, you don't know what's coming in, you don't know what's going out, bank account keeps going, and you're getting those damn fees, right? Overdraft fees.
Yeah.
What do you start to do, right? You start to probably overeat, drink more, do more drugs, do things that you know is not good for yourself, your body, your mental side, everything. You will repeatedly do those things because you keep logging in to look at your bank account and it's at zero, it's at negative, it goes positive, right? That's what I mean. You start turning on yourself. Then you start talking down on yourself, and it just repeatedly, you're beating yourself up. Again, because of something you really don't have control of, because you don't have the knowledge that's been passed down to you. You don't have the true understanding of the money game. And that's when you start turning on yourself. And then you dig yourself a hole that it's really tough to get out of, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get in that hole. Entrepreneurs, anybody. You start going down that path, it's 10 times harder to get out of it. And then most people don't want to do that hard work.
The hard work to reverse.
Let alone the hard work just to get ahead.
Yeah.
You got hard work to reverse, and then it's even harder to get ahead.
The thing is, it's work. And you definitely got to put, you got to put some, I can't say it another way, but you got to put some stank on it, you know, you got to. And, turning yourself, let's talk about the stress. Like, how do you see financial stress affect, like, especially now in the 2025s, affecting people's mental and emotional well-being, especially entrepreneurs? And everybody's always fake it till they make it, which, I don't subscribe to that, but that's what a lot of people do. How do you see that financial stress affecting people's mentally and emotionally?
You've been raised, and I've been raised this way, that remove your emotions from your financial decisions, right? Those are two different things. Actually, data and facts now, no, they're not. We're humans. We're emotional beings. It is integrated, right? Our money, our decisions, all of it, our emotions are all so integrated.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets so much worse when things aren't going well for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just steamrolls itself. So the emotions that come down to, and what we're seeing is, when people do not have money, they take it out somewhere else, right? On their loved ones. Again, all the abuse things I was talking about, they look for outside reasons to attack and blame that for the reason, right? As opposed to looking at themselves. And you can see it's very blatant. It's out there. A lot of those people are the ones that are buying the expensive things to flaunt it, right? And to say, oh, I'm good, I'm successful. Mm-hmm. Behind the scenes, they're not, right? They got roaches in their house, something like that, right? There's just something so bad about it. The thing is it's you're in control of that. Mm-hmm. People don't do that. Like, no one says I'm in control of my money. You are. You're in control of the value of who you are and who you work for and how much money you make and what you learn and all. You're in control. No one else is in control. You don't have to do things the way other people tell you to do things, but you need to do it for yourself. And until we as a community and people can understand how to really love ourselves and know who we are, none of what we're talking about matters, because you'll go revert right back to it, right? That's how bad habits happen, is you haven't prepared and done your mental work, and you come right back to it. And you just, I'm doing good. Something happens, we're back, right? And that's what you see in the cycles over and over again. So for me, it's, if you can own it and know you're going to be an emotional decision maker, which we all are, recognize that, and then tie it back to making good decisions.
Just kind of piggyback on that, and I just want to kind of get real with the pressures to look successful, right? Emotionally and successfully, and people online and people watching people online, they kind of feel the pressure of all that, right? Um, what's that cost? The cost of people just saying, they look successful, then I got to be successful, but I'm not successful. Sort of continue to try to look successful, but you know what I mean? It's just a kind of a cycle.
It is a really bad one. That's a great question, by the way. That cost is losing yourself, because you're not living your life for you anymore. Right? Social media has done that. And I think that's been one of the terrible things about social media. However, one of the best things about COVID, right, was the fact that we all kind of went and sucked ourselves in and lived for ourselves, right? Now, that was more survival because we were locked in our house, but it's still that same thought is we are living vicariously in someone else's world virtually is how we live our lives right now because of social media. That's what you're telling yourself, because you are trying not to live in your world that you are actually physically in, because you don't want to be who you are. You think you want to be who they are. Let me back up. You think you want to be who they think they are, that they are showing that they are, but that's not who they are either. Right?
Preach.
So who are you living for?
Yeah.
Are you living for them? You living for others? You living for yourself? And that's why I really wish social media would blow up. I wish we could have something that just gets rid of it, so we all could just focus on our everyday life and living our lives, because a lot of what we're going through trauma-wise was never there in other generations because they didn't have access to the things that we have access to.
Right.
And no one talks about that to that degree, right? We blame video games, which, yeah, they have their own issues, but it's really social media and our ability to get information instantaneously about someone across the globe who's living in a totally different life. And you're like, ooh, I want that life because I'm not happy about mine. And instead of fixing your life and working on your life, you're just watching their life, which is just feeding their life. You're doing nothing for yourself.
Wow. Okay. That's a great answer. And I'm trying to figure out how to follow up on that, because there's it's like a coping mechanism in a way, right?
Right.
Would you say in order to get out of that, trying to find a solution to this, right? Find something in their real life that makes them excited, or what would be the solution?
Besides throwing your phone in the pool or something like that?
besides that, because we kind of need it.
Yeah, you kind of need it. And I catch myself doing it too, right? Like where you're just scrolling, right? And not just getting out of your realm.
Yeah.
But what brings me back and centers me more is one, either this content or, I coach my boys and we do athletic things. Like that's my go-to. So is cooking food. Like I know what my releases are and what my passions are. So if I start getting caught up in that, rat race type situation, I break free, put the phone down, and I know I can go do those things and it'll get me out of there. I can't answer that for you. I can't answer that for anyone else, but you know those things for yourself. And you just have to work on getting out of it. It's not going to be night. It's not going to be black and white, right? It's not going to be instantaneously. You're not just going to learn from us today and go, yep, I'm going to take my phone away and I'm going to go do my thing. You're going to have to consciously think about it every time you pick up that phone. Is me scrolling right now because I'm wanting to get away from my situation and out of my life, and I'm just going to keep scrolling? Or is it just because I'm taking a 10-minute break and just catching up on things? Those are different reasons to pick up your phone.
Yeah.
Right. And if you catch yourself, you're just scrolling and you're like, man, why am I doing this? Put it down and go do one of those things, whatever it is, at whatever time of the day it is. Right. I don't care if it's 2 a.m. Go do a workout. Go cook something, do something. Don't let the constraints of your day and your time be what drives you away from your joy just because society's told you to do so.
Yeah.
So you got to figure that out on your own. I don't know what yours is, but those are mine.
Yeah. It's personal. It's individual. I really wanted to get your take on this question, which is I prepared it because I wanted to know. With everything that's happening in the world today, inflation, cost of living, skyrocketing. How can people really redefine wealth in a way that's empowering instead of overwhelming? There's just so much happening right now.
There's so much. I started a new YouTube channel called Let's Get Real, and we do current event type things, but we do it with articles that people probably haven't heard of.
Nice.
Problem is, I get so many alerts with so many of them that it drags me down. I'm like, there is so many things going on in this world every day. It's exhausting, and I do it for my job, right? I couldn't imagine just doing it, just living and seeing these. What I tell everybody is, you gotta not listen to that noise. Majority of it's never going to affect you.
Yeah.
Let me back up. Majority of it's never going to affect you physically. It might affect you mentally because you care about humans and human rights and those things. Like, don't get me wrong. But it won't physically affect you because they're so big. It's so global. It's not there. You need to, if you've done all the work we've talked about, right? You figured out who you are. You're focusing on your joy. You've got your mental side going right. And these things pop up. You are now prepared to go ahead and wash that away. It won't affect you. It won't come into your life like that. It's when you are unprepared, you are in that stuck position or whatever words we want to use, that those start hitting harder on you, right? You start to feel as if you are those people. I've been there, right? I've been there a few years ago when I left my business partner. Long story on that one, but I left that and I felt that same way. I was stuck in a hole, felt terrible, blaming myself for everything, and everything that was being attacked felt like it was coming at me, right? And that was around, I don't know when that was, but regardless, that's what it feels like, right? So the things that are going on right now, you feel attacked. The missile strikes, you think, oh, great, oil prices are going to go through the roof, which means my gas is going to go up $6.
Right.
You felt that immediately. This bill that's coming out is really, really frustrating, and you feel like it's personally attacking you when, yeah, it's going to attack a few of us, but you feel like every one of the things in the bill is attacking you. You think every time this president speaks, he's attacking you. Right? Those things are happening because you are not prepared. You haven't done the work of yourself. Now, granted, some of those things are true, right, for us, but you feel it so internally because you've not prepared yourself and built up your own defense to kind of push all that stuff away and focus on just what your life is and what you can achieve based upon what cards have been dealt for you. Our cards have not been dealt to deal with the geopolitical mess that's going on.
Right.
If so, we would be in those positions right now. Me and you would be fighting for that right now. Those weren't our cards. That's not our lane. We can speak about it. We can speak up about it. We can help each other out as much as possible. But my lane and your lane are over here, and we got to focus on those. And all our other people, we need to do the same. But you can't do that unless you know who you are.
Unless you know who you are. Yeah, I agree. Man, it's a lot. Okay, so that whole world right there, that I can just go into a lot. But I really want to, because you have such a gift and knowledge, I want to really kind of put a shine on your business, Black Mammoth. Talk about that a little bit, just talk about it, and we'll just flow from that.
Yeah, we'll flow from that for sure. I started in the money industry in 2011. Started in the insurance game, like a lot of us do, just pushing life insurance, making sure I get 4 sales a week. That was the dynamics of it. I started learning more about the money game and understanding like what financial planning is, what investments are, how banking and lending works. And I started to realize that financial planning, holistically looking at someone's life, is as unique as almost a thumbprint is. Because the tools, right? Roth IRAs, 401ks, life insurance, disability insurance, all of those are tools that we all can use. But before then, we have so much work to do to even be able to use those. And it took me a while to recognize that. So I started recognizing that and doing work. I left that company, joined another firm out of Houston, and we were doing that work. And as I was doing that work, I was going, oh, there's more to this. It's deeper. This game's more complex. Right? How are our billionaires becoming, back then, how are some of our billionaires becoming trillionaires? Now, so much money's gone, I don't even know where it went. But how is this game happening? How are the Rockefellers been around for eons and their family keeps building? because if you look at the stats, inheritance usually dies by the third generation in typical average data. Rockefeller's been around forever, and they're worth, it's not told, it's not public knowledge, but probably trillions, right? Like, let's be real. How is that happening? But like the majority of us don't have that. Well, did more research, and it's called family office. Right? A family office, as simple as I can put it, is a family has so much money that they hire and have everything internal. Attorneys, accountants, marketing, lending, travel, everything is handled in-house for specifically their family. Well, they have enough money to do so, but also that means they're getting experts in all the knowledge and they don't have to do it themselves. Whereas 99.9% of the rest of us have to do it ourselves, right? We have to figure out how to do our taxes. We have to figure out what investments are. We have, you know what I mean? Like, we have to do all these hats. These wealthy families don't. They have experts on everything that they do. They have people to go to. They have ideas to bounce off of. They're right hands no matter what. I was like, well, why can't we make that available for probably small business owners? Why can't we do that? I know the everyday person, it's tough too, just because there's costs involved. And I have a business. It's got to be profitable or else I'm not here.
Right.
How can we do that? Why don't we do a modern family office for women, minority, and LGBTQ business owners that we can become their family office? We'll scale some of that down because they don't need it all. But instead of just doing it for one family or one business, I can do it for multiple. And since we're doing it for multiple, I can reduce the cost for everything to make it affordable for small business owners. Oh, cool, Stoy. That's a great idea. How the hell are you going to pitch that to everybody? I had about, at that point, like 12 clients that I thought fit in this realm. And I asked them, I said, what do I do for you that matters the most to you?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, you are here for me when I have a question. That was it. We do everything. Taxes, legal, investments, all the investments in the world, business, operations, all of those things, all the terms that you want to see floating out there on every wealth management website possible. We do those. But the answer that she gave me specifically was, you're just here for me when I need you. And you're here for me before I know I need you. That's it. And at the end of the day, she's like, I ask you if I'm good. Are we good? And that's it. That's all they want. To me, that's all the family office is. All people really want is someone to go to, a confidant, and say like, hey, this is my situation. Let's help me out of this. And then how can we move forward? They don't need 12 people to tell them how to do that and spend thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
We can have a team to do so, and we all need a team. So back in 2020, that's when we launched Black Mammoth. But I wanted the name to be different. And I want everyone to know this. I didn't want it to be Hall Wealth Management or, you name it out there.
Yeah.
A couple of reasons. One, because I think the wealth management industry is going to change entirely. So tying your name to something like that's silly. Two, I didn't want it to be about me. It's not about me. It's about helping you. So I tasked my team with coming up with a name. I said, I want black in it. Black has to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Black is beautiful. Black is bold. But also black is being profitable, right? Like, as we talked about it. And my staff asked his brother, who's in Nashville and is an artist, and he did a bunch of research and did a couple songs and stuff. And it was like,
before you go, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of the ThriveWell journey. Every time you show up here, you're choosing growth, clarity, and the deeper work of becoming who you're meant to be in this world. And if you're ready to reconnect with what truly lights you up, I created something powerful that can help you. It's called the Empowered Path, 7 days to reclaim your purpose and passion. It's a beautifully designed, guided workbook that walks you through a week of powerful prompts, clarity building tools, and real mindset shifts. Now, you can get instant access to it today. It's a small investment for a huge return. Your energy, your clarity, your alignment. And if you want to take it deeper, check this out. I'm offering a limited number of free 30-minute purpose coaching sessions. No pressure, no pitch, just space for you to reconnect with your direction, your gifts, and what's next. So you can grab the guide and book your session at the link in the show notes. Let's not just go through the motions. Let's really walk this path on purpose. I appreciate you. And like we always say, let's make thriving our new normal. And I'll talk to you soon.